All right, so we're back to do our die cutting. So I have these dies here that I want done in black, and then I have a wreath that I'm doing in green and the bow that is going to be in gold. So I'm putting my dies right on top of my plate here. I have some scraps of paper that I'm going to use for it. Now, these particular dies, they face, like the man and the woman, the way the dies were made, they face the same way. And I actually don't want them facing the same way. So I am going to die cut them both, but I'm going to flip the woman around so that she's facing the other way. It means that it's not going to have most perfectly rounded edges that you would have when you are die cutting, but that's okay. If you want to turn her around, you just turn her around so she's facing the other way. And this man, the way the die is created, he's got a leg that's sticking out, and I wanted to take that right off and just have him standing tall. So all we're going to do to get that is, I didn't even cut that full leg because I didn't need it. So I'm just going to cut that right off. And if you didn't know the die, you wouldn't even know that there was a leg there to begin with. And now I'm going to find my lamp, and I'm going to cut that. And I've got space there, I might as well cut my wreath out at the same time. So I've got my little scrap there. I'm going to put it just on the wreath part because I don't need the bow in the green. I'm going to cut the bow in gold right after this. Should make sure I put all my pieces in the same place so that I can find them all. The lamp came right out of the die and it's on the plate. The wreath is as well. Let's get those excess pieces off of the plate. And now I'm going to cut the gold for the bow. Excuse my furnace. My craft room is, or our furnace is right in our craft room, so I try to film when it's off, but it happens to have turned on. All right, I've got my die cuts ready. I'm just gonna clean up and I will be back in a moment. We'll put the card together. All right, so I'm all cleaned up and my furnace is off. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to glue the two silhouettes to the outside of the card. A little bit of glue on them. I want them on the outside of the panel so when the card is closed, I see them. All right, so this lamp, I could leave it like this and have the light or the yellow from the back showing. This is just a slightly different shade. So, or I could put gold in the back of it. So this is just showing you how to get a different color behind the lamp if you want. So I'm just taking a pencil and I'm just making a mark where the outlines of the die cut are. And then I'm just gonna snip them off slightly inside of those lines. And I don't have to be too careful of it, because basically this is going to get glued onto here. You're not going to see any of those outside bits. I always dry fit it first to make sure I've got what I needed cut off. So now I'm going to put glue on the outside of the lamp, on the back side of it for sure. Make sure you do it on the back. And then we've got the light in our lamp. Now I'm going to put glue on the back of this to glue it to the card. And then I want it pretty much centered. I'm going to, just because I know how big this lamp is, I want it slightly below, and then the top of it's going to be just slightly above. And I've got my little wreath here. Glue that on. And then the bow, I only put a little bit of glue in the center so that I can kind of angle the bow outside or up a little bit just to make it look like it's a little bit more dimensional. So I could leave it like that as is if I wanted to, but I decided to add a little bit of red on her hat, some red berries on the wreath, and then some red on his scarf, just to give it a little pop of color. And I'm gonna start on the left side of the card, simply because I'm right-handed, and if I start on the right side of the card, there's a good chance I'm gonna put my hand in some wet stickles while I'm working on a different spot. And for those of you that don't know what stickles are, it's glitter glue, but it has a really fine tip to it, so you can get very precise with it. The one thing with stickles though is it takes a while to dry depending on how thick you've made it. So I like to do that as the last step of my card, and then I tend to leave the room because I am a klutz and I tend to put my hand where there's wet stuff. So I'm gonna leave this as is. I'm gonna let that dry. If you wanted to add a little bit of extra dimension, you could also add some glossy accents to your lamppost to make it bright and shiny. Entirely up to you. The other thing is, so for this one I did the two silhouettes and the lamppost in black. For this card here, I decided to do the two silhouettes in navy, and then I did my lamppost in like a brassy coppery color, and then I did my wreath in a white glitter with some blueberries on it, and then the bow is the same color as the lamppost, and it's just to make it coordinate with the printed paper that I chose for the background. And that same paper there is the outside mat of my Joy to the World piece, and then the navy is the same as what I cut my little silhouettes out of. So you can customize your card to create it exactly how you want, to coordinate with the papers you wanted. This one here, we did an inky background, but you don't have to. If you wanted to just get some printed paper and save yourself a step, you absolutely could do that. Or if you, I mean, it's your choice how you want to do your card. This is just to give you a bunch of different options so that you know that there's many varieties possible. So try not to put my hands in the stickles. This is our finished card. I am going to leave it to dry, and then I will see you in the next section where we're going to do the same back of a card, but we're going to do some watercoloring with stamps, just to show you that you can use stamps for this exact same card base as well. So the variety is endless. We'll see you in the next video.